So what's the most important advice I give to anyone after 35 years in the industry? What's the most important thing? I think if you want to differentiate yourself from competitors, you need to maximize your greatest value, which is the innovation of your people, not just the head count of your people, the innovation of them. And that means having a system, not relying on happenstance, having a system in place that ensures that the brilliance of your best people gets spread to all your people. And it's easy to do. You just have to commit to do it. The technology's there. Just need to do it. So imagine your competitive advantage. If the difference, the drop-off between your absolute top producers, your best innovators, and your core staff, imagine if that drop-off was minimal. Imagine how productive you would be. Imagine how profitable you could be. Imagine the leadership in bidding that you could have. Okay. Now imagine the return on investment on that. And the thing is, the investment isn't all that complicated. You guys have software in place. There are software platforms in place, communication platforms in place that are extendable. SharePoint, for example, a lot of people don't know how to use it. Microsoft Teams, no. SharePoint it's usable. Okay, there's some extensions you can add in for inexpensively that can enhance it quite a bit, that integrates with Copilot. There's a lot of stuff you can do with the investment you already have. Now, given that, so big return, minimal investment, is that not worth ensuring? Why leave innovation and quality and the uplift culture to chance? Why leave it to chance? It's way too important. It's way too big a multiplier. There's no one source for innovation. Essentially, anyone who's banging on up against a problem and comes up with a solution is innovating. So you must prepare to reap the benefits, to harvest the information from all over the place. And to be simple, and you want to crowdsource it. You want to prepare to crowdsource it. So there's vendors and there's industry conferences and all that stuff, but your innovation for your organization is occurring on the front lines of production. And that is where you want to harvest. You want to harvest the general stuff too, but where you make a quantitative difference in output, in productivity, in margin, is the innovation that your people come up with as they're doing your jobs. And you want to harvest that. You want to make it as easy as possible to get it from anyone who's innovating, and you want to make it as efficient as possible to get it to them, and you want to make it findable. So you want to be able to push the information, but you want to allow everybody in the organization easy access to pull that information. Hey, I'm doing something. What's the best way to do it? And that is a systematic thing that, with commitment, and there's not a lot of resources, just the commitment to establish that and to maintain it and to promote it and generate excitement, it's easy to do. And this is where you make your biggest resource multiplication. This was where you ensure leadership within the company, and your leadership within the company oozes out. It permeates to outside the company, and you will be recognized as leaders, and you will get more work. We are committed to quality. We are committed to innovation. Are you? Or is that just lip service? I've been in a lot of places. I've worked in a lot of places where quality is something that, if you're lucky, you add some. I call it excellence from the margins. It's not a top priority. It is, well, we hope you get to it. Take notes, and we'll try to learn lessons. In fact, I've seen some folks, they do a good job of doing post-processing, lessons learned, but then distributing it, they drop the ball. So excellence should be a commitment, and it's really impossible to make it quality is job one. It's like, no, it isn't. Production is, and billing and keeping the projects on schedule and on budget. That is really job one. So job two may be something else. Maybe quality is 4, maybe innovation's 5. And that can still work. What you need is a centralized system, and you need centralized resources that understand that and work proactively to ensure that people who are innovating can contribute that innovation very easily, and then they also ensure that it gets spread properly to the people who need it. And that means a push by spreading, but also having a repository that's actually findable, where you can have folks pull the expertise they need. This is something that's not particularly complicated to do. It's just something that engineers typically have overlooked. Committing to a system that ensures an uplift culture is the biggest resource multiplier, quality multiplier, leadership multiplier that will get you more work. Expertise, your innovation is your most important asset, and ensuring that it is spread as widely as it can within your firm. What's more important than that? Rule number one, let your innovators innovate. Okay, that is your technical, your leadership, your competitive advantage is your innovation. So the folks who are doing that, encourage them. That should be the most important thing they do. Let them do it. Okay. Firmwide's goal should be to minimize the burden of sharing innovation. Okay, some folks are going to want to run with it. They're going to do their own video or brown bag, and they want to share it, and they want to run with it. Other folks are going to say, hey, I'm innovating, I'm making progress, I'm changing the world. Okay, your job is to follow them around and make sure you take it to the level that needs to be taken in order to share it among your staff, among the folks who need it. So what's the role of the central support, the central team? Okay, it's to enable and promote innovation in the expertise sharing. Okay, so it's promote the Uplift vision. Got to promote the vision. Okay, design and support the Uplift infrastructure. That is your communication systems, your learning systems, your expertise sharing systems, which is like discussion boards or forums, and that is an extension into SharePoint. If SharePoint's your communication platform. Okay, so design the infrastructure, the communication infrastructure to harvest extended distributed innovation. Okay, work on Evangelize Participation. That's always going to be a role. What's the value? Show the value. Identify and empower the innovators. Okay, there are folks who are they're idea hamsters. They are production streamliners. Promote those people. They make the difference. They move you forward. Okay, so identify and empower them, and always with any project, listen and respond. I don't know how many times I've come up with a solution that I really loved, and the folks are like, "Hey, can you do this?" And I remember the first times I was really resentful. It's like, "Come on, I've taken you from here to here." They're like, "Take us a little bit further," and ultimately they were right. So always be responsive. Always don't just passively accept feedback. Proactively, consistently, continually look for ways to better serve your audience, your clients, your staff. So support, in order to keep the investment and cost down, your support must be scalable. You cannot have a coach over every shoulder. It's too expensive, even though it's awesome. And then how do you keep your coaches up to date? It really has to be a scalable system, okay? So support's overhead. So it's got to be really lean, and you can keep it lean by keeping it scalable. Okay. Also, training content, for example, really should be a lot leaner, and you can design it that way. So keep the content lean and keep the systems lean, and that means keep them scalable. Okay. Tenets, crowdsource the expertise. It's better than centralized top-down. Okay. You can do both. You can still do top-down, but design your system to crowdsource the innovation and feedback. Okay, central is good for strategy. Tactics are honed in the trenches. Okay, the longer you're away from the trenches, the more blurred your expertise is. So expect that whatever experts you pull out of production to be central, they're still going to have to listen and actively seek out the folks who are in the trenches. Okay. And speed and findability are keys. Okay, if you're slow, if they can't find stuff, your system will fail. Okay, it's got to be fast, it's got to be responsive, and you got to be able to find stuff. So, what are the key performance indicators for a robust expertise sharing system? One, anybody in the company should be able to find resources, peers, and experts in any specialty or niche they can think of. Well, anything that's important. Also, within 5 minutes or less, they should be able to find best practices, internal best practices for the important things, specialties and niches. So I'm doing ADA ramps. Who do I talk to? What are our best practices? What are our step-by-steps? What have we found to be successful? I'm doing roundabouts. Okay, well, I'm doing roundabouts in Civil 3D. What's the process there? Who do I talk to? There is no reason that it should take more than 5 minutes, or it shouldn't, to find the people and the help you need. Okay. The other thing that's important, the specialties, the major specialties should have interactive, collaborative groups, discussion boards or forums, like Reddit or communities for Bentley communities. We can do that internally. There's an add-on for SharePoint, and it is harvestable by Copilot. So it's a managed environment where you can let your specialty teams, your experts collaborate really, really well, and it's harvestable and extensible and manageable. Whereas Microsoft Teams, if you're trying to do it in Teams, you know how bad that is. Teams it's like email. It's good for notifications, not good for management. You can build really good, well-managed, extensible work groups within the systems you already have. SharePoint, Microsoft 365. And probably the most important, anybody who has an invitation, they should, one, have the mentality, the habit of, hey, does this help people? And two, they know how to hand it off, whether they want to document it to a big degree or simply call central support and say, hey, I've got an idea. But the point is, once they discover value, they have the reflex to share it. That reflex to share is proof that they find value in the system.